So the WBC have finally and officially ordered Tyson Fury to face his mandatory challenger Dillian Whyte. The 30-day negotiation period begins now. If they can't come to an agreement within the allotted time, it goes to purse bids. I've got two questions, however. Number one, who won the arbitration? Was it Dillian Whyte or the WBC? Because as far as we're aware, the dispute was over the purse split. If Dillian Whyte had his way and he won the arbitration, then he'd be getting something like 40% or 45% as the interim champion. But if the WBC had their way, he would seemingly be getting a lot less than that, perhaps 30, 20, or even 15%. And the reason this is important is because if Dillian Whyte isn't happy with his split, then perhaps the fight isn't going to go ahead. I say perhaps. Maybe he'll just bite the bullet and take what he's given and think that there's no point in continuing to push this. So if any of you have got information about who won the arbitration, whether it was Dillian Whyte or the WBC, and what the purse split is, then please leave that information in the comment section below to enlighten us all. And the second question would be, will the unification, the proposed unification between Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk actually trump this mandatory? Because in the rule books of many, if not most of the sanctioning bodies, unifications do trump mandatories, but as I understand it, it's at the sanctioning body's discretion, which basically means they can make it up as they go along. And if they don't want to do Dillian Whyte any favors, the WBC that is, and they have such provisions in their rulebook, and Tyson Fury comes to them and says, hey, look, I'm trying to do this unification with Alexander Usyk, are the WBC going to rule in Tyson Fury's favor or in Dillian Whyte's favor? You let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Now, as far as the fight itself, if the Tyson Fury-Dillian Whyte mandatory fight happens, it's a good fight. It's good to see Tyson Fury fighting somebody that isn't named Deontay Wilder. We don't want to see him and Wilder fight a million times, right? We'd like to see them fight people outside of that pairing. And Dillian Whyte has had, I don't want to say a rivalry, but he's had an association with Tyson Fury going back many years when he was actually a sparring partner in several Tyson Fury camps. And according to Dillian Whyte, he dropped Tyson Fury a number of times and handled himself very well in those sparring sessions. Now, sparring is sparring. Tyson Fury today is a different fighter to what he was several years ago. But nonetheless, I'm sure Tyson Fury will know that Dillian Whyte carries power. I'm sure he will know that he is a good fighter. And that left hook is no joke. It's a hair trigger left hook. It's a shot which can come out very quickly, and you need to be careful on your right side where you position your right hand so you're able to block that shot or be sufficiently far away so it will whiz past you rather than landing on your chin, because you don't want it to land on your chin. Tyson Fury was hit by a left hook against Tom Schwartz. Now, obviously, when he's fighting a pudding, he's not going to be as on it. He's not going to be as alert and defensively astute as he is when he's fighting somebody that's legitimately top 10. So I'm sure he'll be more careful against Dillian Whyte. Nevertheless, that is something Tyson Fury's got to watch out for. And I do think that this will be a more difficult puzzle for Tyson Fury to solve than Deontay Wilder from a technical point of view, because Deontay Wilder is very rudimentary, whereas Dillian Whyte, even though he's not athletically gifted, even though he looks like he's got two left feet at times and his balance is not all there, he knows what he's doing. He can set certain shots up. He's a good counterpuncher, particularly with the left hook, but also he counters quite well with the right hand. So yeah, it's a higher technical level with Dillian Whyte as opposed to Deontay Wilder. So I think that Tyson Fury will have to think more, because against Deontay Wilder, it was really straightforward in the last two fights in terms of his game plan. This time around, I think it's going to be a little more complex than that for Tyson Fury. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Again, if this fight goes ahead, it's a good fight. I would be picking Tyson Fury, as I have said all along, but I give Dillian Whyte a chance, of course. I just feel like his feet may be too slow if Tyson Fury decides to keep it long to be able to close the range and do the kind of damage that he wants to do. I'm sure he can't outbox Tyson Fury. I'm sure if Tyson Fury keeps it long, even at 280 pounds or whatever he is, he will be able to just outbox Dillian Whyte on the outside. I think that would be the case. So Dillian Whyte must be hoping that Tyson Fury meets him head on the way that he did with Deontay Wilder. And if he does, I've seen some people say that Tyson Fury can overpower Dillian Whyte the way he did Wilder. Well, he might be able to push Dillian Whyte back because of his size and strength, but Dillian Whyte is better equipped on the inside than Deontay Wilder. So if you look at the third Wilder fight, for example, those moments where Tyson Fury had his head down and he was working away on the inside with short shots. Dillian Whyte is much, much better in those situations than Deontay Wilder. He can throw damaging punches up close. Not just the left hook, but right hands, uppercuts, all kinds of stuff. Dillian Whyte also has better upper body movement on the inside than Deontay Wilder. He can slip and roll on the inside and find angles for shots, and he can also avoid shots better on the inside than Deontay Wilder. Wilder really on the inside is a sitting duck. Once you're on his chest and you're on the inside against Wilder, he's not going to do anything sophisticated at all to be able to get out of the way. And his short punches are really a non-factor for the most part. Whereas Dillian Whyte throws very hard short punches. He slips and slides, particularly now that he's with Xavier Miller. There's that Midwest influenced style. I know Xavier Miller's from the UK, but he has said that he's influenced by Midwest style boxing and has been for many years. And you can see that in Dillian Whyte's style with his slipping and sliding. So yeah, Dillian Whyte is much better equipped to deal with Tyson Fury coming at him, fighting him off on the inside, etc., than Deontay Wilder was. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting fight. I'll be picking Fury, but it's still good. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And again, if you've got any information about who won the arbitration, let me know. If you've got any info about whether the unification will trump this particular mandatory, let me know about that as well.